everyone. It's so great to be back again. My name is Lily.
Hi guys, I'm Rajesh. I don't know if you guys remember us from the previous video where we talked about COVID-19. So today we'll be talking about the vaccine. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So you're probably wondering, what is the COVID-19 vaccine? So the vaccine is an mRNA vaccine that you get via injection. This is the first time an mRNA vaccine has been approved by the FDA. And we'll be going more into it later about what an mRNA vaccine is. But just to be sure, I know everyone's wondering, since it is new technology, that they're a little hesitant on getting the vaccine. But this technology has been in development for over 30 years. It's been used to explore some ways to come up with vaccines for things like Zika, Ebola, the seasonal flu, and rabies. And just a little bit of background, traditional vaccines used killed, weakened, or portions of viruses in the past. So I want to explore and show you guys how this is a little bit different. So how does an mRNA vaccine work? So you're injected with messenger mRNA. That's what's short for mRNA. And it's just a recipe, or you can think of it as a recipe or like a message that we inject into your body, and it makes a protein. And it's a harmless message. And the message is encoding for protein, which is the spike protein. And this spike protein is what makes COVID-19 so infectious. So what happens is, once we inject the message into your body, your immune cells will take it up and they'll start making this protein. And they'll be showing this protein to other parts of your body and your immune cells. And that's when they'll start learning to attack things that look like this protein. So again, just to sum up, that the vaccine trains your body to attack the infectious part of the virus without actually seeing the rest of the virus. So currently, there's 2 FDA-approved COVID-19 vaccines. You've probably heard about this one in the news, which is Pfizer and BioTech. Again, it's an mRNA vaccine. We just talked about it. So this one is 2 shots, 21 days apart in the muscle of your upper arm. And this one's recommended for people that are 16 years and older. And in the trials that they did, they found that it was 95% effective in preventing COVID-19, but the people who were in this trial had no history of previous infection. And this vaccine does not contain eggs, latex, or preservatives. Moderna is pretty similar, except this one's 2 shots, 28 days apart, and this was recommended for people 18 years and older. And they found that it was 94.1% effective. So everyone should get the vaccine except people that are under the age of 16 and people with severe allergic reactions to any of the vaccine ingredients that I'm going to go over in a couple of seconds. So ingredients and what they do. So both the Pfizer vaccine and Moderna vaccine share the same kind of ingredients. mRNA, obviously, which we just talked about, that's the message that codes for the spike protein. And the lipids, which you can think of as like a greasy layer that helps coat the mRNA and helps it to easily go inside of the cells so your cells can make the protein and show it to your other cells in your body and train them to attack it. There's salts that also help stabilize the mRNA, just like the lipids. And there's sugar, which helps stabilize the vaccine during refrigeration. When the vaccine is made, they have to deliver it to hospitals, and one way is to keep it under a certain temperature, and this sugar helps with that. And there's one exception: Moderna does use extra ingredients, which are acids and acid stabilizers, which also help stabilize mRNA. I definitely recommend visiting their websites to see the specific ingredients. I haven't listed it here, just for the sake of clarity. You're probably wondering, is one vaccine better than the other? Say it with me, no. So who can get the vaccine right now in DC, which is probably what all of you are wondering right now. So as of at the time of this video, there is a limited supply, and they are being released in phases. Again, for the sake of clarity, we didn't list out all the phases. But right now in DC, anyone who is a healthcare personnel or a DC resident 65 years and older can get the vaccine. And I'd highly recommend that you guys visit the website I listed here, coronavirus.dc.gov/vaccine. And if you put in your email, they'll give you alerts on when you can get the vaccine. Common side effects. So these are the common side effects you may or may not experience based on the CDC information once you get the vaccine. So at the site of the injection, in the muscle on of your upper arm where you do get the vaccine, you could see pain, swelling, or redness. And later on in the rest of your body, you may get chills, tiredness, or headaches. But as a reminder, the side effects of the vaccine are way better than the side effects of COVID-19. And then Lily's going to take over the rumor versus fact portion of this.
So we know there's been a lot of rumors going around about the vaccine, and we'd like to take a few minutes just to go through some of the things that we've heard people saying and to go through whether they're true or false. Okay, so the first one. I will get COVID-19 from taking the vaccine and spread it to my friends and family. So while this is a serious concern and I could understand why you'd be scared about this is a big rumor. You cannot actually contract COVID-19 from the vaccine or spread it to other individuals from getting the vaccine. This just goes back to how Rajesh was talking about earlier, that we're only inserting that little recipe into you so that you make a protein, but we're not putting any part of the actual live virus into you when you take the vaccine. Next, the government can track me after I get the vaccine because it has messenger RNA. And while this name is pretty deceiving because you think of messages when you hear messenger, this is also a rumor. And actually, there's no way that the government can track you after getting this vaccine, and there's no government tracking device within the vaccine. So there's no need to worry about that. The vaccine was too rushed and didn't go through all of the necessary testing. And while I completely understand this concern because we're used to vaccines taking a lot more time to go through development and then eventually be distributed to the population, this is also a rumor. The pharmacy companies like Moderna and Pfizer that Rajesh was talking about received an FDA-approved emergency use authorization after they did the rigorous clinical trials that are common with any vaccine. And the main difference between normal vaccines and this current vaccine is that they started producing the vaccine before they got approval. So that once it was approved, they already had a large stock of vaccines and they were able to just start distributing them. And that's the main difference between what usually happens and what's happening with the COVID-19 vaccine right now. My DNA will change after I get the vaccine. And while it seems that after injecting something into you that this would happen, this is also a rumor. The vaccine cannot change your DNA because the mRNA that we're injecting actually can't enter into the nucleus of your cells, and that's where your genes or your DNA are located. So they can't mix with one another and they can't get into your DNA. The virus has mutated, so there is no reason to get the vaccine anymore. And this is one that we can't stress enough of how big of a rumor it is. So even though we've heard about new strains coming out and new strains even emerging within the US, scientists believe that the vaccine is still protective and you should still go and get the vaccine once it's your turn to get it. And this is the only way that we'll eventually get over the pandemic once and for all. I don't need to get the vaccine because I already had COVID-19. Another rumor. Scientists aren't entirely sure how long antibodies last once you do have COVID-19, but they're pretty sure that the antibodies that you receive after just getting infected with COVID-19 don't last as long as the antibodies that you get from actually getting the vaccine. So the CDC is recommending that people get vaccinated even if they have had COVID-19 in the past. And it's important to also remember that reinfection is always possible. So you want to be as protected as you can be, and that would be taking the vaccine. I got the vaccine, so I don't need to wear a mask or social distance anymore. So as sad as this is also a rumor. And even when you get the vaccine, the CDC is still recommending that you practice all of the social distancing and protective measures that you've been taking already, like wearing your mask and staying 6 feet away from one another. They're not entirely sure if even if you have the COVID vaccine that you could maybe still carry the vaccine and spread it to your loved ones and your friends. And then it's also very important to remember that this is a 2-dose vaccine, as Rajesh said earlier, and you have to remember that you're not actually fully protected until 2 weeks after your second dose. And once again, the vaccine is pretty highly effective, like 94 and 95%, but that's not 100% effective. So we still want everyone to be safe, keep wearing your masks, and keep social distancing. Keep up the fight. So we'd like to end with just one last plug, and that is to get vaccinated. So when your time comes and you're eligible, do go get your vaccine. Make sure you get both doses. And it's important to stay up to date as to when it will be available to you. So make sure to go to that link that Rajesh stated earlier, and then you can get alerted when it's your time to go get the vaccine. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, the CDC website has a lot of information, and most of the information that we presented in our presentation is actually from that website. And also, feel free to reach out to your local doctor, and they can help you through this as well. So, thank you so much for your time, and we hope to eventually meet you guys in person once this pandemic is over. Thank you.